Hey, how's everybody doing this evening? I think we've gotten to a point with Donald Trump that it's just time for him to step down. Just to step down. Just to step away. Just to not be president anymore. And the reason I say that isn't because of the fact that he doesn't bring something to the table as far as his opinions are concerned. And he doesn't have a few points, because he really does. I don't disagree with Donald Trump on everything. I do disagree with the way Donald Trump handles things. And today is a perfect example by referring to certain countries as shitholes. The last time I checked, nobody got asked where they were going to be born. I mean, you don't get a checklist before you're born and say, well, I'm going to pick this country, I'm going to pick that country. I didn't get to choose where I was born, and neither did Donald Trump, and neither does anybody else. So to refer to someone derogatorily in that way doesn't represent a people that probably most of us don't feel that way. I would hope most of us don't feel that way. That certain people just are shitholes because they're from a certain country. I understand the logic, people saying, well, everybody says this kind of stuff when they're by themselves or with people they trust. But Donald Trump says this in a group of people, a group of congressmen and congresswomen. Donald Trump says this, you know, do we have to take these people from these shithole countries? I mean, Donald Trump is what he is. He's a businessman that's been able to do things the way he wants to do them, and has had pretty much his way with everything, because he's always been very fortunate in how he was born, the world he was born into, and he had a lot of benefits. So he's used to being a CEO kind of guy, call the shots, everybody listen. He tells everybody how high to jump. So that's his mentality. That's the way he lives. That's what he does. And if that's what he wants to be, that's fine. Just don't run for the presidency of the United States. Because in that position, you just can't go out in public and say any crazy thing off the top of your head, because it makes the whole country look bad. Because if this is the person that we elected as our leader, and he can't contain himself to the point he can't even behave himself or say stuff that isn't extremely offensive. And I haven't heard anybody yet defend this. They defend it in such a way by saying that, well, this is an economic thing. He's talking about people coming from countries and taking jobs from Americans, and it's all about economics. It wasn't about people from shithole countries, because these people are coming in over here, and they're not as quality as people from other countries. I mean, people try to make the economic play or economic idea or economic stance that's what he was talking about, but he basically called people, and forget about the fact that they want to immigrate to this country or not, who cares? But he basically referred to a lot of people as coming from, well, people that, I guess if you come from a shithole, you are a shithole. So I guess that's what it is. So he referred to a lot of people as countries a shithole, and people that come from those countries are shitholes, or people that are pretty much worthless people, or whatever, however he wants to refer to it. It's just not good. It's just not good. It's not good. It's time for Donald Trump to step down. You know, because so much energy is spent by just every day talking about this stuff that he does. And sometimes I kind of think, in a way, he does take a lot away from, you know, there's a lot of infighting going on, and so maybe because of a lot of infighting going on because of all of Donald Trump's, you know, antics, that the government is status quo, and meaning they're not doing anything, you know, more damaging than they've already done. I guess if I had to describe myself as anybody, I'd probably say I was more of a libertarian than anything else. So kind of libertarians just would rather see government stay out of everything, and if Donald Trump keeps on fighting with everybody and nothing gets done, I guess that's kind of a libertarian, you know, best way of handling the situation. You just don't have anybody do anything, and everybody sit around and fight, and nobody accomplishes anything, which is kind of what's going on with Donald Trump. But anyway, this is a really I mean, I talk about Donald Trump a lot on my channel. Most of the time, I talk about the things he says because I don't agree with a lot of the things he says. But today, it's not called for. I mean, in fact, I've heard almost everybody say that they thought that was a poor choice on his part. Now, if not only a poor choice, it was an indefensible choice of words and actions. So tomorrow morning, or today even, I don't know when, Sarah Huckabee will get up in front of everybody and defend Donald Trump's position and say what Donald Trump really means is he's for America first, and these people are coming over and taking American jobs. But they will never, ever call him out on what he said because she's paid. And that Sarah Huckabee goes clear back to the debates when her dad, the Governor Huckabee, was debating Donald Trump, and he come out on stage and told everybody how wonderful Donald Trump was, and he was actually even wearing a Donald Trump tie. And at that point, I think he capitulated to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump repays the favor by letting his daughter become the spokesperson for the White House. I think it's just time for Trump to step down. He just causes too much turmoil, sucks out too much. He takes up too much energy. He's a high maintenance person. Just a high maintenance person with all of his stuff he does. He's just high maintenance. And like I said, I know a lot of people would say some stuff behind closed doors, maybe say stuff that they weren't proud of to people that they trust. But nobody goes out and says it like he says it. And for him to say it the way he says it, it's just, you know, it's who he is. He just can't stop himself. He just can't handle it. And he should have never ran for president if he believes these things. He should have just stayed a businessman, continued to run his real estate operation, and tried to do as much as he could in the things he believed in from the private sector, and not try to go into the public sector, because he's just not meant for the public sector. As much as people want change or difference or somebody to just go out there and speak their mind and say crazy stuff, I mean, if that's all you're doing, you just want somebody that's an adjutant, well, you know, I think you could find somebody that's a little more careful or a little bit better at it than Donald Trump. Because he just really, I really wonder about the man, the things he says and the things he does. I mean, today, calling people from, I mean, the President of the United States gets up in front of a group of people, legislators, and says, we don't want those people from the shithole countries. I mean, how do you defend that? I mean, how do you even come up with that idea? Why would you even say that? I mean, and if you did have that idea and that mentality, why would you say it in that way? Call people, I mean, that's a lazy way of saying it. Shithole people from shithole countries. Why would we, I mean, why would you probably come up with a little better wording than that? I mean, that's even intelligent. That's an intelligence thing, just to come up with a more palatable way of saying it. Something that people won't find so offensive. I mean, I made a couple videos here recently about Logan Paul and the price he's paying for some of his lapse in judgment. But Donald Trump gets by with it every day. And Logan Paul's a YouTuber, he's 22 years old. Donald Trump's 71 years old, and he's the President of the United States. And nobody seems to call him out on his antics or the things he says and does. So anyway, I think it's just time for Trump to step down. Like I say, I understand that he's got a few points, and you know, he's saying some stuff people want to hear, but he's just causing too many problems every day. It's always about him, and I think that kind of plays into his personality, that it's always about him, and he likes that, and that's why he does it. So we should just quit playing the game with him. Just needs to step down and quit letting everybody feed his ego. So anyway, I appreciate you watching. Thank you.